Okay, the last one I'm going to do is factoring when the lead coefficient is not 1, but using a method that I'm going to just call the grouping method. You might be thinking, there's 3 terms. Why would I do it by grouping? I usually do that when there's 4. Well, I'm going to make it 4 terms. Here's what I want you to do. You want to take the first coefficient times the constant and just maybe write it up here to remind yourself what you get. You're still going to think, what numbers multiplied together give you 9? But add, multiply together to give you 14, but add to give you 9, like you did when this was a 1, all right? And those numbers are 7 and 2. So now I'm going to rewrite the problem, but instead of 9x, I'm going to replace it with 7x and 2x. And it doesn't matter which one you write first and which one you want second. And that equals 9x, so I'm not changing any value. Then, just like when I did grouping, I'll put the first 2 and the last 2 together and hope that I will find a common factor. In these first 2, I can take out a 7 and an x. And when I do, I'm left with an x here. And these would divide all the way out, so I need to make sure I put a +1. In this one here, I will take out a 2. And I would be left with an x plus 1. And I'll notice between this first and this last one, the common factor I could pull out in front is x plus 1. And then if I take that out, I'm left with a 7x plus 2, which is what I got when I did guess and check, or the new method you'll see is also slide and divide. It's just a personal preference. All right, so the next one and the last one I'm doing today is this one, where the lead coefficient is not 1, but I also can't say it enough. Make sure you take out a GCF, which is a 2. And then, it's okay to ignore the 2 while you're doing the problem just inside here, but don't forget to tack it on at the end. So we're going to do the same thing as we did up here. We'll take the 5 times -4 and get -20. Now, some students get a little more freaked out when they see negatives, but you can do it. What numbers multiplied together give you -20, but add to give you -8? So I'll bring the 5x squared down, but those 2 numbers would be a -10, and I'll put an x with it, and a 2. So the numbers I thought of were -10 and 2, and I'll put x's with them because those 2 equal that. So I'm not changing any value, and bring down the -4. Okay? Again, the 2 still comes down, but I'm ignoring it for a little bit. Now I'm going to factor by grouping. What can I take out of these first 2? I can take out a 5x. When I do, I'm left with x minus 2. What can I take out of these last 2? Is a 2. Since it's positive, I want to make sure I put that plus sign there, x minus 2. What does this term and this term have in common? Well, what they have in common is this x minus 2. So I'll pull that in front. And what's left was the 5x plus 2. But please do not forget to bring down your GCF. And that is factoring when the lead coefficient is not a 1 by using a method that I like to call grouping.